it out. Yeah, you know I'm always fierce in the fashion that I wear. I be stunting on my peers. Diamonds glare, make them steer. In the verse, switching gears. Moving forward, never rear. I don't even look in mirrors. Yeah, you know I'm always fierce. Garments in my closet so fly. They need a passport. Fabric imported from.
All right. Welcome to Fierce Entertainment Live.
Yes. Episode 62.
We're back with you.
It's 2022.
Freestyling, y'all. Happy New Year. Oh, man.
Yes.
Wow, speaking of New Year, y'all were celebrating big, weren't you?
Oh, man.
Y'all were
yes.
celebrating big.
We did it.
Whole family.
We did New Year's on the Carnival Cruise, in the
Yes.
middle of the Caribbean, the
Yes.
Gulf.
Gulf
That's
of Mexico.
Gulf of
That was
Mexico.
fun.
We
It
was
was really
chilling.
fun.
Yeah. That was a
Yeah,
good
where did
time.
you go? Where's all the places that you went
Oh,
to?
man.
Oh,
So we had the cruise.
Where
It was
did you
a 7-day
go?
cruise, and it had 4 stops. So
Okay.
I may not go in order, but Roatan Island in Honduras,
yes.
Belize City, Belize, Cozumel, Mexico, and Costa Maya, Mexico.
Yes. And
Wow.
the cool thing is, we actually have family from Belize.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it was, so it's kind of like coming home type of thing,
Yeah.
but we don't know that family. It's like my
So we're not
mom's
connected.
father's
Yeah.
family is from
Yeah,
Belize.
further down.
Yeah, further down. So
And even Honduras, as
Not
we're
in Honduras.
learning, even and to include Honduras.
yeah. So it was cool, and I was stationed in Honduras for a little bit, so it was cool to be back.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Very cool.
Oh man. So Stara, how was your New Year's? What did you do?
Stayed home. That's when COVID started really hitting. Like,
Yes.
I was supposed to go to a house party, and 2 of the people hosting got COVID. So I just
Ooh.
stayed home, and
Yeah.
I thought it was the best thing to do.
Mm-hmm. It
Yeah.
is. You were smart.
Yes.
Even though,
Yeah.
so as far as we know, our cruise was safe. We didn't hear any reports. We all had to be vaccinated, and they encouraged the booster, and they mandated masks and constant hand sanitation.
Yes.
So
Okay.
it was a very
That's great.
controlled environment, actually.
Yeah. It was cool because I felt safer on the ship than when I got back off of the ship, because it was like boom, you know what I mean? We got off the ship, and at least on the ship, everywhere you went, they were forcing you make sure you put hand sanitizer on, and
Yeah.
every door you went through, there was hand sanitizer. We knew everybody was
Yeah.
vaccinated. We knew everybody, just tested negative. You know what I mean? So
Right.
it felt a little comfortable, and then we still wore masks everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere
Yeah, that's
outdoors.
great.
So
Yeah.
so it felt safer.
You
You know
come out
what I mean?
to the real world, and then you don't know
It was
who's
like, oh,
who's got
shoot,
what.
no. And then my first stop, I hugged somebody. I saw somebody I didn't see in a long time. I won't say their name. And then I saw them, gave them a quick hug. Hey, how you doing? And then later that night, Jessica tells me, oh, this person's in the hospital with COVID.
Your first day back. You
My
didn't say
first day
that.
back.
First day
This
back
is my first day back from the cruise.
from
I'm
the
like,
cruise.
I'm never leaving home again.
Imagine
Be
that.
on
You
that
see
bubble.
somebody, give them a hug, and then you see later, like, oh, I'm in the hospital.
I didn't even know. Jessica told me.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my goodness, man, life sucks.
I'm
But thank goodness,
glad you
looks
guys are
like they're,
safe.
thank goodness that it looks like they're recovering. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So, and wish them a speedy recovery. So that part
Yeah.
is nothing to laugh at. You know what I mean? So
No, no.
definitely wish them well, and do not
Mhm.
wish that COVID on anybody. But it seems like this Americon is taking over.
Yeah.
Omicron.
Omicron, what is it called?
You claimed it for America. You said American.
This is that's what
The
taking over the
American version.
The
This is
American,
our-
but America,
America.
It'll be the next one.
taking over.
Okay?
Yeah, man, taking over everything.
Upgrade.
Yes. Oh my God. Shoot. Well, so this weekend. This is a Dr. Martin Luther King special,
Yes.
right?
So nice.
And Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. His birthday is Monday,
Mhm.
So this is our special where we're just kind of we have some guests that's talking about the spirit of Dr. Martin Luther King. We have Miss Monica May, and Miss Lisa Bachman
Yes.
from the Orange County, Florida,
Mhm.
Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Initiative. They're the
Okay.
co-chairs of that. Um,
Okay.
we also have a young gentleman that is very impressive with what he's doing, and he's going to tell the story about how we met earlier. His name is Demarius Maxwell. And then
Nice.
a good friend of ours that is, has a platform that's really pushing anti-bullying.
Mhm.
Sean Roberts, that's going to be with us today.
Nice. Okay, that's a good tie-in.
Good tie-in. Amen.
Mhm.
So, with that being said, let's get into our question of the day. So, we all know that Dr. Martin Luther King had a vision for the future of this country. If you could control one aspect of the future of the United States, what would it be? And we want you guys at home that's watching this, go ahead and type your comments. What would you change about this country? Type those into the comments. All right. So I'm gonna start off with Star.
Um, it's hard for me to just say like one thing, but what comes to mind is peace and positivity. I try to share like daily because everything's contagious. So when you're positive and caring, loving, whatnot, and you share that, it also can be contagious to others to also have that mindset. So I feel like if we would move forward with instead of focusing on the negative and horrible things happening, focus on what's going great. Whether it's the friendships, the families, the things that you have, your relationships. I don't know. I think the world would be a lot better. So
Nice.
I
Very
like
nice.
that. I
Good
like
answer.
that.
that's on speaking on
Cool.
that's
So
my thing.
Jessica,
Mm.
all right. We know that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. he had a
Mhm.
vision, all right, a dream for the future of this country. And if you could
Yes.
change one aspect about this country, the future of this country,
Mhm.
what would you change?
I would say just looking at local news, not local news, recent news.
Mhm.
um, Looking at the case of Ahmed Aubrey
Mhm.
and the trial of the three convicted murderers and the sentencing. So it really just makes me reflect. It reflects all the way back to, I mean, it goes way back to Emmett Till, but Trayvon Martin, to me, this just put me in the same place of where I was with the Trayvon Martin case, which was here in Central Florida in Sanford. And I would say I want to see equality in the justice system, fairness, empathy, consistency, all of that in the criminal justice system, starting with law enforcement and through the judicial system. And one thing that I could say is that the judge in this recent case with the sentencing, he showed empathy from my point of view. It
Right.
seemed like he got it, and he seems to be a judge that would be that is fair and consistent across the board.
Awesome. Yeah, I found it the same too. I found it refreshing to
Mhm.
see because you get those stereotypes. I'm not. I've got to tell you, I was guilty of it. I said, okay, this judge is from Georgia. Here we go.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Here we
Yeah.
go. You know what I mean?
Right. Here we go
And
again.
right, and I didn't see that with the judge that for the Kyle what's his name, Kyle Rittenhouse
Yeah.
trial, and that was in
Mhm.
Missouri. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So, was that Missouri? I think it was Missouri.
Missouri,
Minnesota. It
Minnesota.
was Minnesota. It
Mhm.
was in Minnesota. So even worse. You know what I'm saying? So it
Mhm.
wasn't like the deep South. So I was like, okay, here we go.
Right.
But that judge, you're right. He did show empathy
Stand up.
and
Stand up.
yeah, right. And it seemed like he was fair up and down.
Mhm.
So the reason why I smiled when you gave your answer is because my answer is very similar with the justice system, but
Mhm.
it's a different choice. It's not the same answer. My answer is more so for the inmates, for prisoners that are coming out. ex-convicts. All right, the whole system with the convicts. I feel like the United States, the way that the system, the history of the prison system is from the Jim Crow days. If you're not familiar with that, you could do
Mhm.
research,
Yep.
but it's from the time where slavery, after slavery was abolished, the slave masters and the people that used to own the slaves wanted a way to control the black people, so they found
Mhm.
ways to, like, if you did this, you did look at this person wrong, you whistle at a white lady, you go to jail. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Because that was their way to take away their freedom
Yep.
easily. I feel like the system being built off of that back, and now with privatized prisons, there's several privatized prisons right here. So there's an incentive for those that own the prison to keep prisoners in.
Mhm.
I feel like there's not that much concentration on reform for the prisoners when they come out.
Mhm.
And so some of the things that I would like to see is that, one, if you're a prisoner, if what's happening. I'll before I get into that, I'll say what's happening today is that families, especially minority families, where there's somebody that goes to prison, the family, there's generations of issues. That's
Mhm.
we got a generation that's growing up without a father figure,
Yep.
and then what's happening now. What happens to that person that didn't have a man in their household, and how did that, how did they react when they grow up, and
Mhm.
what type of father do they be without an example and whatnot? You know
Mhm.
what I mean? So it's a cycle
Yep.
in the black and brown families, especially. All right, or the poor, because
And
there's a
poor.
lot of
Yep.
and poor. There's a lot of poor
Mhm.
white people that are in prison,
Mhm.
and the same cycle. So what I would like to see is that when people are in prison, they have the opportunity to not only work, because they're working now, but right now they're working for like 13 cents an hour,
Mhm.
25 cents an hour,
Yeah.
whatever. Actually, whatever their minimum wage while they're working, to be able to send money back to their family. You know what I'm saying? Not necessarily to keep the money in the prison system so that they could do dirt with it, but if there's the opportunity to work
Right.
in the prison system and send money back to their family, so
Mhm.
that they, even though that they're not there physically, that they can still support their family.
Mhm.
They're doing the labor anyways, right? They're doing labor, they're
Mhm.
making things, they're doing stuff.
Right.
Pay them and let them be able to support their family. That's
Right.
one. And
But the
then
problem is, I think the prison is keeping part of that money. So maybe they're getting a job, an external job,
Mhm.
and the prison is getting paid, and they're keeping the money and then giving the inmate 10
Oh,
cents or 13
definitely,
cents.
definitely, they're getting paid. Yeah, yeah. I mean, and that's because, like I said, it's a privatized, it's a business.
Mhm. Mhm.
So, yeah, if you have people that's working, just like slavery. They have
Mhm.
people that's working for 13 cents an hour. They could produce a lot of products, sell those
Mhm.
products for regular wages. You know what I'm saying? And they're
Mhm.
making, a crazy amounts of money. You know what I mean? And in addition to, now everybody gets a piece of the pie. You got the contractors that feed the prisoners. You know what I mean? They're
Mhm.
getting, so it's an incentive to keep prisoners.
Yeah.
The people don't, there's not an incentive to keep people out of the prisons, because those businesses will go broke.
Right. They need
They
that.
need prisoners, right? That's the
Mhm.
business. So yeah, so deep stuff, but that I definitely would like to see change.
Great
So
points.
Yeah.
yes. All right.
Yeah.
So now, with that being said, we're gonna lighten it up. Let's lighten it up a little bit, because we came
That's the
in,
So
best
we've been
we
way to
light.
opened
start.
2022. We just kicked in the doors.
Need
We
my
just
peak
Yes.
of
boom.
positivity.
Let's do, guess what day it is with Star Dalton.
All right. Let's do it.
So today is World Logic Day. So this celebrates the idea that logic, as reasoning, is a central feature of human beings. So universities, other institutions of philosophy, they hold workshops,
Mhm.
events, seminars, and lectures. So if you want to learn more about it, I would Google it and maybe attend one of these things. It sounds really
Nice.
cool. Yeah.
Okay.
I never heard of this day before, so
I haven't
Yeah,
either.
that's pretty cool.
I
I
like
always
logic.
like to learn more. hmm
Awesome.
So the next day that is part of National Day is Ratification Day. So this day recognized the act that officially ended the American Revolution. So this is the Treaty of Paris, and it goes back to
Oh,
January 14th of 1784. So it was a
wow.
while back.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
So
remember studying that. Yeah,
did
I
you
don't
remember?
remember. Yeah, I don't remember the details, but I remember studying that. Yeah.
Maryland State House and oh, if I can even say this word, Annapolis. I've never been there.
Indianapolis.
Oh yeah.
hmm So, yep, that's ratification day for you.
Okay.
Our next, this is my favorite national day right here. I love
Okay.
it. National Dress Up Your Pet Day. So if your
Wow.
pet allows you to, then take advantage of it. I
Yeah.
never dressed my dog Diamond up, but I've seen my mom put sweaters, and my dog looks embarrassed. Like I'll walk in and she'll be like,
They're like, what the
So
hell is this? Well, let me
fun.
ask you this: are the sweaters ugly? Because maybe she's embarrassed because they don't look
no,
good.
it's
You gotta
not
like
ugly. I just
figure out her style. Maybe she has like a certain
yeah,
style that you guys haven't discovered yet.
Bling,
hey,
some bling sweaters.
Yeah.
get a pink sweater. It was pink. It's my color. It must not be
Well, yeah,
hers.
but Diamond's a pit bull. Pit bulls don't like pink. Not all pit bulls like pink. You gotta
She
get
didn't look
it.
happy, but she looked embarrassed. So,
Oh,
so
Oh,
yeah, today's a day to celebrate your pet and have
yeah,
fun with
that's
them. Show off their
fun.
fashion sense, their
Yes.
style. Yeah.
oh, nice.
And the last, huh?
I'm saying take a lot of
Wait,
pictures.
Rob, you have a dog. Do you ever dress them up?
We have two dogs. We have two dogs. There's they're not my dogs because I don't claim them. One is my daughter's dog, Tiana,
Uh-huh.
and she my daughter puts clothes on her and she she'll tolerate it. She does like anything Amaryllis wants her to do. She just does. The other one is Honey. She doesn't like anything on her, so she'll put stuff on, and then you put it on her. She'll like wear it, and then she'll hide in the corner and try to take it off, and that's it. You won't see it on her anymore. You know what I mean? But she's shaped kind of funny. She's like a Chihuahua mixed with Jack Russell, so she got like
Uh-huh.
short legs and a fat body. You know what I mean? And then a big thick neck. You know what I mean? So the clothes
Uh,
don't really fit her well. You know what I mean? Like the legs are short and the neck is like big and
It's just
so
uncomfortable.
yeah, so I think it like pulls her. She's like, get this off of me.
Yeah.
So she pretends like she'll like, oh yeah, this is nice, and then as soon as you're not looking, she take that thing off. Yep, she's gone.
Too funny.
Nice.
And last but not least, National Hot Pastrami Sandwich Day.
Oh,
Mm, mm.
So
I know
those
some
are like
people who I know some people who
sandwich.
breath smell like hot pastrami. I don't know. I don't know if that's a good
There
thing.
you go.
I don't think that's a good thing.
All right. So for those of you that didn't know, one of the things that we had the opportunity to do since COVID was to produce virtual events. And so think Zoom on steroids. And that's basically what we're doing with our own DJ Tronny Blaze, who's mixing it up. Yours truly, Rob is the host, and then Jessica's doing all of the behind the scenes camera transitions. So we really offer a great time, as you've seen in that little commercial clip. All right, so definitely check us out, and hit us up because this new variant ain't going nowhere, y'all. So if y'all want to do a birthday party, y'all want to do a surprise birthday party, whatever, hit us up. We'll put together a nice virtual event for you guys, and it's gonna be dope. So with that being said, let's bring in our first guest, two, Miss Monica May and Miss Lisa Bachman. So this is our special edition celebrating Dr. Martin Luther King. And so with that being said, we have our special guest, a good friend of mine, Miss Lisa Bachman and Miss Monica May, co-chairs of the Orange County Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Initiative. Thank you for being on, ladies. How are you guys doing? Welcome.
Fantastic. Thank you for having us.
We
Oh
are
man,
so excited to be in your
We're-
presence.
we're very excited. We're very excited. So Monica May, is a professional of what I'm trying to do right now. She's been
Oh,
doing it. She's forgotten more than I have even had the opportunity to start learning yet.
No.
So it's a pleasure to have Miss Monica May on here,
Pleasure.
and Miss Lisa Bachman, very intelligent woman, has been doing a lot for our city. And you were running the JCC museum for a little bit, the Jewish museum over here in Maitland for a little bit as well, right? Or a major part of it.
The Holocaust Center, yeah.
The Holocaust Center. Okay, sorry. See,
Okay.
if you guys don't know, I like to brag, and so I always boost my friends up like higher. I give them like super high titles. So tell us. So, Monica, we'll start with you, if you can. So tell us a little bit about your history, your background, and how you got into broadcasting. Just the Cliff Notes version.
yeah.
Cliff Notes version is I decided when I think I was probably in middle school what I really wanted to do, but I never said it to anybody. And I went to an HBCU my first year of college, and I lost interest in school because I wasn't getting any closer to what I envisioned was going to be my goal. And an English professor pulled me into his office, and he said to me, "You know what? You're really wasting your time because you're not engaged at all in college. What is it that you want to do?" And before I could get my answer out, he said to me, and his name was Dr. Eugene Mathis, he said, "I see you behind a camera, behind a microphone or in front of a camera." And that brought tears to my eyes because that's exactly what I wanted to do. I had never said it to anybody, didn't know how to put it into words. And he kind of guided me from there. And I wanted to go back home, which was New York. And I found a school upstate New York that had both radio and television, got my degree, started working in morning drive radio in Washington, D.C. almost as soon as I graduated. And it was ongoing after that. And as I said in a recent speech, East Jablip, West Jablip, North and South, wherever there was a microphone, and then a baby came along. So have a baby and microphone will travel. And I wound up in Orlando twice. And it must be that I really like it, or I really have a mission to finish here. And one of those missions has been to be an ambassador for Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and doing so through the Orange County MLK Commission. And the Orange County mayor has started this endeavor back in 2019. This was before COVID. And he said, "I need you to find a coach here that doesn't look like you, and somebody that you guys can really bounce off of." And I introduced myself to this wonderful lady, did not know her. I knew of her work. And I sought her out. We met for coffee. And I'm telling you, we met one morning, and we have been joined to the hip ever since that time. And that's Lisa Bachman from the Holocaust, formerly from the Holocaust. She's doing her own thing now, but
she's doing her own thing. That's what's up. And
we gel well, is what I say.
Perfect.
I agree. I agree. You guys it seems like you guys have been, working together for years. So it's interesting to me to find out that was the first time that you guys really, joined forces on that initiative was with the Orange County Dr. Martin Luther King initiative.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Amazing. Cool. So Lisa,
Yes.
Ms. Bachman, tell us your story, your background, and how did you end up working with Miss May
Oh boy.
from your point of view?
Yeah, it's funny. I can close my eyes and remember that morning at Starbucks on 1792, the very first time that I met Monica. And like she said, we just instantly clicked. And what was supposed to be, I think, a 1 hour meeting ended up being like 3. And all of a sudden I realized that all of this time had gone by. And I had only been in Orlando for a year at that time.
Wow.
Yeah. I come from Cleveland, Ohio. And I guess I'll say my claim to fame, if you will, is I had my own company that I ran for about 18 years in Cleveland. It was a non-traditional marketing company, and what we did were we were brand ambassadors. So we would literally hand the brand of our clients to their clients at events and trade shows and things like that. But what really changed my whole life was when our youngest son was born. He was very sick, and it's a long story that I won't go into, but the bottom line is that he had so many difficulties that he attempted suicide 3 times before he was 11 years old.
Wow.
Because he was so different and just no social skills, no friends. It was a very, very dark time. And then finally, when he was 12, he was diagnosed with Tourette syndrome. And at 13 years old, after being disqualified from a cross-country meet, he ended up starting a nonprofit at 13 years old.
Wow.
And became a motivational speaker. And through his high school years, I got to, and I specifically say I got to because it was an incredible privilege to be able to travel the country with him, where he did full school assemblies for students in grades 5 through 12 in 16 different states. And he's 24 now, and he follows in Monica's footsteps, sort of,
Nice.
in that he's a broadcast journalist. So the kid with Tourette syndrome who has tics and says weird things and does weird movements, he's reporting the 6 o'clock news for ABC.
Wow, that's amazing.
Amazing.
That's an amazing story.
And when I tell you that you would never know unless you were really, really, really looking for something, but then what would you look for?
Right.
Because he is the coolest, smartest, bravest young man I've ever met.
Thank you.
That's
Aw.
amazing. That's awesome. Awesome. Great stuff right there. Great stuff. And so, and Monica, do you also have a family member that's in broadcasting as well? Or no?
No. My daughter tricked me. And she went to college on a business major through the Coggin Honda company.
Okay.
And she went to Jacksonville, to University of North Florida. And in her first semester, she decided that she really did want to try what mommy was doing, and decided that she's coming out of that and wanted to do public relations. But
Okay.
she realized that you got to be hardcore to do PR, because you got to be able to stomach those no's and let them run off your back,
Yes.
turn it around. And she realized that's not really what I have and what I want to do. So she's pathology now. So if that's who you're referring to, she took a different path.
Nice. Okay. Great stuff. Great stuff. Okay. Well, so Lisa, I want to ask you, if you don't mind, tell us a little bit about Mayor Deming's Martin Luther King Initiative. What are some of the things that we've been able to participate in, and what's the focus for 2022?
Yeah, and I will say that participating in the MLK Initiative has been an incredible highlight for me, and in fact, probably the best thing about coming to Orlando. And the thing that I like the most about it, aside from being able to co-chair with Monica, who truly is my sister, is that this is a group that walks the walk. And the culture that is set, and it does come from Mayor Demings, is we follow all of the pillars of Dr. King's principles, and everybody that is on the commission truly embodies that. And we've had the opportunity to participate in all kinds of service initiatives. We've gone to Second Harvest. We've done the Mayor's Book Club. We have done a book buddy program. As a group, we go out on not so much now because of COVID, but when it was safe, we would go out and participate by going to local businesses to help support them. And in 2022, we'll have a signature spoken word event coming up. We're continuing our book buddy program where we're reading. We're not reading, but we're doing a program where we're purchasing books for preschool students. And there's a whole lot that's coming up just in terms of fellowship and coalition building and partnering with local organizations. So we really have a lot on the agenda.
Yes, and shout out to Katana Thomas and Sean Welcome, your partners in putting together that spoken word event that was supposed to kick off last week, but due to COVID, we had the county put some restrictions. But looking forward to that event because we got to meet Sean Welcome at the Fusion Fest, and Katana is as a fellow MLK buddy, so I'm also on the initiative. I noticed you didn't say it was a pleasure working with me. Said Monica, but I'm not gonna hold that against you.
Nobody would know about us if it wasn't for the work that you do.
Oh, thank you.
Rob has donated so much of his time to help edit our videos, put together our marketing materials. He created our logo.
Oh,
okay. Now you're making me blush. You're making me blush. We're gonna go to Monica. You're making me blush now.
So let me say something.
Okay, go ahead, Jessica.
Some of the things I've seen, and it's probably through. I know it's the whole committee, but I've seen a lot on social media on the Orange County Facebook page, and I believe even the library, if that's from what I recall with the book club. Or the book. So tell me a little bit more about the book initiatives. I think that you mentioned 2 different book initiatives. What are those things I'm seeing on social media?
So one is coming through the Early Learning Coalition, where we've chosen a school and whoever from the initiative, and it's about, what would you say, about 30 of us?
31.
31.
Mm-hmm.
We each have purchased books for a buddy, and they assign you a buddy. And the buddy sends you a picture, and I know I'm smiling like cheesing because it's so creative the way they do it. Because these are babies, so
yes.
they're not able to write you a letter, but they can put pictures on. And I have one; it's on my wall over there. But they put pictures together, and then there's I'm sure the teacher will say, "So what is this rocket meaning?" And they'll tell you what it is. And so you're themed about where they are with their instruction, and you're staying in line with that, and the kids are purposing their letters from whatever it is that they know from their lessons, and we're just buying books that can enhance that. But it just makes you feel so good and so much a part of something. So I think we're like on our second book that we've purchased. We've got one more to go, and we were going to have this big party and do all of this stuff, but it's like 100 kids.
Yeah.
We're going to have to put it on hold because, the spike in COVID numbers right now in the county has just made everybody a little bit more fearful of being in large numbers. And then the other initiative is where we've had an opportunity to choose a book, and then we just go on the internet and we start with the mayor, and he reads openly to groups, and it's just, what wouldn't you say, Lisa? It's one of the, if there's a word such as funnest, and that's it.
Well, I'm waiting for you to talk about what we did together.
What did we do together? What?
We
so much together.
Well, when we got to read to the classroom.
And we got a chance to dance with the kids. And you're doing everything virtually. So when it's virtual, you got to go big with all the gestures. And I noticed that Lisa really, really, really got into it. She initiated the dance moves, and so because both of us have young grandchildren, and so we're pretty much animated with them. So we kind of feel right in line, wouldn't you say?
Oh yeah,
just did the same things that we do with our grandkids. But those are the things that we do, and we're trying to show that we're so indicative of Dr. King that peace, justice, calmness, just socially conscious and being socially aware of one another is really the key to why we're here. And so we've picked such a diverse group. And I would have to say that the participants that make up our advisory council, they were already chosen by the time Lisa and I got there. And so we're getting to meet some of the most phenomenal leaders in our community. And it's just amazing to see how everybody is so willing to roll up their sleeves. If it's filling boxes at Second Harvest and being on an assembly line, and everybody rolls up their sleeves and puts on these crazy looking caps to cover your hair, and we're all there looking really crazy, got aprons on and everything. And then the mayor shows up and he dons the cap and puts on the gloves and gets on the assembly line. I mean, it is a working council, and the mayor gets involved. That's the really funnest and bestest thing of the whole
Yes.
council.
Definitely.
I like that word. Funnest.
Yes.
Funnest and bestest.
Cool. And so, with that, I want to ask you guys the question of the day. We're going to start off with you, Lisa. So we know that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. had a vision, for the future of the United States, right? For this country. Now, if you had a vision, or if you could control the future, one aspect of the future of this country, what would it be?
It's so tough right now because so many people are so divided, and people are making decisions whether or not to like someone, to be friends with someone, because they have different beliefs. And I wish that we could all look at and use Dr. King's principles to lead with kindness and gratitude, and take the time to really get to know and understand people's perspectives, and and understand that there's no such thing as progress unless we have different viewpoints, and we have to really understand and get to know each other's viewpoints so that we can figure out the best way forward. And that was something that he taught, and I really hope that, I think the pandemic has really exacerbated this and made it so much worse, and I'm hoping that as 2022 starts and things hopefully settle down, that we can get back and remember that we have more in common than we have in differences.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's true.
Great answer.
Yes.
I love
Thank you.
All right. Okay, so now, Monica, now you get to try to top that.
So I don't know that I want to top it, but I know
Not a contest. No.
Dr. King's one of his principles, well, and she already mentioned about love, but love is active. It's not passive. And in order to actually be love, you have to really embrace it. And you have to really understand people, get to understand them. And like she said, I always say, you only have a moment to let me see who you really are. But I have to really see and want to get to know you better. And if we don't take enough time with people, I'm a New Yorker, and you don't make eye contact, so they stay there.
Right.
But that 1 year at that HBCU in the South showed me something different. I got to see love. I got to see good mornings. I got to see how are you doing? I got to see people picking up your grocery bag and carrying it to your door. So I remember going home after my first semester and my mom saying to me, "Girl, if you speak to one more person." But you have to be that person that brings that love to the bond, to the circle. So I always say that love is active. It's not passive. And you have to willingly show love every day.
Wow.
And for everyone. And for every situation. That can restore community.
That's why I love you.
Yes, that's beautiful. Beautiful.
So something that you all both said with love and appreciating each other, it makes me think of a diversity speaker or trainer, Dr. Jane Elliott. She's an older lady and she's really like in your face, like she just calls things as it is. But one analogy that she uses is that she says, we always say the United States is a melting pot. And she said that's perfectly fine, except when you make a soup or when you have a melting pot, everything is blended. It loses its consistency and it blends and turns into one. Whereas if we say we're more like a salad bowl, then you can see all of the different colors, the textures, the flavors, everything stays as it is, and you can appreciate all of the differences.
All
that
the
you
flavors.
thought about.
I
Good
love
stuff.
that. So it's
Yes.
so much.
Yes,
Yeah.
I
Good stuff.
do.
Mhm.
All right. So, last question for both of you. Each of you, I should say. How can you tell us a little bit about your personal endeavors? I know you both are doing your own thing now. Monica, you started your own production company. Is that correct?
You know, so for 13 years, I was the producer and host of the Tom Joyner Morning Show for Cox Radio, and that's Star 94.5. And you could tell that they were going in a younger direction once Tom was leaving.
Mhm.
And they wouldn't let me know when he was going to leave. So in the back of my mind, it's like, girl, you better figure out something.
Mhm.
What you gonna do? Because
Yes.
I didn't feel as if you were listening for the next host who was going to be Ricky Smiley. He's a funny guy. He's a comedian. We went through this with Steve Harvey. If you were going to be listening for the next joke, you weren't typically going to be listening for the news and community stuff that I bought. So one of the things that I love most about me is that I create options for myself. I don't stay where I'm not wanted.
Right.
I don't stay where I'm not necessarily needed, or whatever the case may be.
Mhm.
And so I decided that Tom left on Friday the 13th, so I was going to leave the next Friday. I didn't know it was going to be like that, but it turned out that that's as he saw it. And I have not looked back. I work a lot with my husband. He's a caterer, a chef, and we have a restaurant in Metro West. I work a lot there. But I also decided that I wanted to continue doing the interviews that I did. So I developed something called One Take Live, and that One Take Live has grown into now me researching and producing webinars for different companies and different doctors, and so it's grown legs of its own. And I'm enjoying Monica May Communications, and whatever curves and corners it takes, I'm ready to go.
Nice. Beautiful. Beautiful. And so, what's the name of your husband's restaurant?
So what it's called, it's Catering's Best, but the restaurant is CB Bistro.
It's really
Yes.
good.
Thank you.
I've been there. It's really
Yes,
good.
yes.
And they
It's
have
really
a
good.
great outdoor space.
I was
Really
just going
great
to
outdoor
say,
space.
nice outdoor. We had a group of about 20, 21 of us, and we were able to sit outdoors and have a
Yes,
nice event, live
And it's
music.
different. It's different. So
Yeah.
thank you all for your
Amazing.
support. And thank you for letting me mention it. But
Mhm.
I'm just, at this point in life, I'm almost, and I will say this, I'm almost at Medicare, y'all. And so I'm just loving life.
Yes.
Good. That's what's up. That's a good place to be.
Good place to be. Cool.
Just
Thank
loving
you.
life.
Thank you for that, Monica. And so, Lisa, what are you up to these days?
Yeah. So
Um,
I didn't know that I was part of this, but I am part of the great resignation of the pandemic. About a year ago, I really started evaluating and thinking about where I wanted to be and what I wanted to do. And towards the end of October, I actually opted to resign from my position because I realized that I wasn't doing what was fulfilling my heart. I loved my job. I'm very proud of the work that I did, but it wasn't truly speaking to my heart. So I am now taking the time to focus on that. I kind of went back to, I talked about my son earlier, and I went back to the day, there was one day that I distinctly remember when our son was diagnosed with Tourette syndrome, and I called the National Tourette Syndrome Association in New York, and the executive director took more than 2 hours of time out of her day to talk with me.
Wow.
And it changed the course of our lives. And that's what I want to do. I want to be able to pay that forward and change the course of somebody's life in that way. So I've got to figure it out. I am writing a book, it's written, it's done. It needs a little bit of editing, but I hope that within the next year I can get it published. So,
Nice.
That's amazing.
so stay tuned. Hopefully there will be an announcement of what I'm doing soon.
Yes.
You know when, but soon.
It will be.
Great stuff.
I'm trying to figure it out, but thank goodness I have the MLK Commission because it has just kept me going.
Yes. Well, thank you, ladies, both of you, for being here
you
on
for
our
having
Dr.
us.
Martin Luther King Jr. special. It's been an honor to speak to both of you guys, and we appreciate your time. And we hope that you both stay safe, stay healthy, and stay fierce.
All right. Thank you.
Hey,
Cool,
welcome,
cool,
welcome,
cool.
welcome.
All right, so Demarius Maxwell. That's a pretty cool name, man. Give us the history behind that name. Where did that come from? That sounds like the artist.
I guess the history behind the name, I guess that answer would be up for my mom for
Okay.
interpretation. I don't know, maybe she's in the hospital and she just decided
She wanted a cool
is what she
name.
wanted to call me. Yeah,
Okay.
I believe so. And it's funny that you say it's kind of like an artist because I tend to think of myself as one as well.
See, maybe she do.
You know,
Yeah.
side gig of mine is to sing, so that's something I do in my free
Oh.
time. So
Nice,
Oh,
nice.
nice. Okay.
All right, cool. And so
Let's see the little dog in the background.
Yeah.
yeah, her name's Money.
Money.
Oh, okay.
That's good. So
What's
when
up,
you call
Money?
Money, say, "Come to me, Money. Come to me, Money."
Yeah.
You're like
Yeah.
speaking it into fruition.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. So Demarius, I know you told the story already, but officially, if you don't mind, let's tell the story about how you and I met, right? And then we'll
Okay.
get into your current endeavors.
Okay. So back in I'm sorry, my camera's not really it's out of focus a little bit. So back in middle school, I had the opportunity to attend a Shark Tank event for I guess my grade at the time. We had the opportunity to go in front of, I guess you could say, a board of investors with a unique idea. The idea that my group presented was we came up with the idea of making like hush puppy macaroni. So it was basically macaroni stuffed inside of like a ball of dough and fried. It's pretty good actually. And it was my job to pitch it to all of the investors. In doing so, I guess my pitch resonated with Rob. I guess he saw something in me that I didn't see in myself, and he decided to mentor me. I'm sorry, my camera is like really bugging me.
No, you're good.
He decided to mentor me and take me under his wing. Not only did he do that, but he showed me the different possibilities of what I could do as far as attending Rollins College. Not only there, but Full Sail, I believe that's what it's called.
Yes,
Full Sail
yeah.
University. We took a tour of these different campuses and gave me a different outlook on what life could be like. And yeah, from there, he's kind of been I guess you could say a big figure in my life, a bigger mentor. There's always somebody I kind of respected, taking someone so young under his wing. We may not have, we fell out of touch a little bit. We got back into it, but the simple fact of the matter was someone he didn't know at all. He took the time out of his busy schedule to mentor me and set me up on the right path.
Very nice.
And I want to tell you, I appreciate you. So, when you reached back out to me, I know it's been a while, and but I remember, just hanging out with you, and that time meant a lot for me as well. So I know, as for a young man in high school, it meant a lot to you. But for me, it was, had an amazing time. I got to, we just kicked it. You know what I mean? We went to Rollins. I remember just walking through Rollins and just, it wasn't an official tour, but we just walked around and we talked and, and the vision and the aspirations that you had at just such a young age was inspiring for me. So it's good to see you. And I'm very proud at where you're at right now, man. Proud of you and, of what you're doing, and tell everybody what you're doing.
Thank you, and I appreciate that. So as of right now, I am currently an active duty member in the United States Air Force.
Wow.
Going on 2 years in now.
Oh, nice.
Making the best of it.
Yes.
And yeah.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. So you're now a brother in service, right?
Wow.
You
You
Yes.
went from
Current-
yeah. He's
currently, wow.
currently in the Air Force. So
And where are you stationed?
I'm stationed in at Moody Air Force Base in Valdosta, Georgia.
Okay.
Georgia. What's your position?
My position, I'm security forces,
SF.
but my
Pretty
unit we do
cool.
such an adaptive basing type thing. I'm only 3 hours away from home, so it's
Yeah.
always good to be
Okay.
close.
Mhm.
So my brother-in-law, he went through the military SF, and then he was a reserve. So he was stationed over there in Patrick, and now he has a great job, man. Now he's a police officer for the Space Force.
Mm.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah, that's
that's what he
yeah,
does.
that's-
Yeah, that's a
Wow.
thing. It's a real thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I didn't know they had people.
yeah, yeah. They have people coming from the Air Force. So, so great stuff, man. So, with that entrepreneurial spirit that you have and your creativity, you decided to put that to use and create your new endeavor. And what's that?
So as of right now, I kind of revisited the idea that me and you discussed back when I was in middle school, as far as starting my own clothing brand. And over the course of this pandemic, I had to really sit back and think of what I wanted the clothing brand to be, the message behind it, and how could it resonate with people. So the brand that I created is called Hush Apparel. Hush Apparel Co. And it stands for hustle until something happens. I feel like it's a message that everyone can resonate with and
Yes.
connect to. I feel like too often these days, too many people talk about what it is that they want to do, what they're doing, looking for validation. When that's not what you need to do. I feel like if you just move in silence and let your actions speak for you, that's a better model to live by and go with. Like for me myself, deciding to start the business and start my brand, it wasn't a whole lot of, hey, should I start this? I want to start this. Can you do this? Or it was, all right, I've started this. This is what I have. This is what I got. This is where I'm going to go. And I popped out with it. And it just kind of shows your work ethic. I feel as though. So that's essentially the message behind my brand. And the clothing brand is again, it's for everyone. So whether it's designed for if you're striving towards your goal with family, business, fitness, it doesn't matter. The message is universal.
And what's the website? What's the website for that?
The website is hushapparels.com.
Nice.
Nice. So Hush, is that like a nod to your first endeavor with the Hush Puppies, Hush Puppy Macaroni?
I didn't even think about it. It, but I guess it could be.
She's making connections with it. She's making a connection.
Oh man, I didn't think about it at all.
Good stuff.
Yeah, that's essentially what I've been working on and balancing, not with me being active duty as well. In my free time, trying to work on that and potentially, set up another career for if I decide to stay in or if I decide to get out. But just weighing and having options. I feel like it's always a smart idea to have a plan A, B, all the way to Z, if you ask me. Because things don't always go the way that you want them to go. I guess that's what I'm going by.
No, that's smart. You always have to have, exit plan. And,
Mhm.
there's something that my son and I always talk about, and my son, he's an entrepreneur as well. And it stems back to something that I told him when he was younger. It's not or, it's and. So you don't have to do this or that. You can do both. You know what I mean? You could do both. You could do this and that. You know what I mean? So you can be in the Air Force. You could decide to have a long career. You can retire. I mean, the benefits are amazing. I went through the VA, through the military, used my VA benefits to go to school. I have like a bunch of degrees just off of that. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And you could do your business on the side as well. So you could do this and that. And when you look at people like P Diddy, Jay Z, Beyonce, Rihanna, they're not doing one thing. They're not one trick ponies. They're they're going.
Exactly.
And so so I like that.
Yeah, multiple
cool.
streams of income.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the, like I said, that's, I guess, what I try to live by. Like that was a great. I like how the analogy you used. There's no or, there's only and. Like me starting my clothing brand was just one of my entrepreneurial. I think I said the word correctly. Endeavors. I have a broad band of sources that I'm trying to tap into. I feel like right now, I'm young, and with me being young, why not? I feel like you have time, but time is limited. So why not take advantage of the time that I have available to me now and the different resources and benefits to go out and to make to make an attempt at trying something. I mean, when I look back at life when I'm, let's say, 40 years old or 50, I can say, hey, I tried to start a clothing brand, or I tried to start a business. And not even if I tried, but I did. And from that, you can only learn from, it's a learning period. It's all about growth. You make mistakes and you live and you learn from them.
And it's not only that. I mean, from that, in 20 years, you could look back and say, hey, you see that billboard with that model that's wearing my clothing brand? I own that.
Yeah.
You might not know it, but I own that.
Right.
So it's interesting, and I gotta give credit to an kind of like a mentor. I wouldn't say necessarily as a mentor, but as a guy that taught me a lot when I was in the military. I was a young guy, and I remember we had this guy that I was working with. He was an E6, but he was so much at that time older than me. He was probably my age now, but I was like, this old man. Why is he around me? You know what I mean? Because I was one of those guys that I kind of picked up my rank and I was young. You know what I mean? So this guy's like, oh, this guy, what is he? Why is he around? And he's he's lazy. He must be lazy. He must not be doing anything. So I didn't really treat him with a lot of respect. You know what I mean? When dealing with him. And so, man, one time, he used to smoke a lot of cigarettes, and I was like, get away from me. That's how I used to treat me. So, I used to treat him. And we're out in the field, in the woods. So one time he's like, you know what? Hey, Sergeant Henley, why don't you let's take a ride together. Let's take a ride. I got to pick up some stuff. I was like, all right, whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's a good excuse to get away from the area that we was at. So we jumped in a Humvee and we take a ride, and he shows me, he's like, we're in the field now. This is the woods. So we pull up by a line of porta potties. And he's like, you see those porta potties? I said, yeah. He said, well, what do you see? I said, porta potties. He said, look at the name on them. So look at the name. It was Irwin Porta Potty, something. I said, oh, yeah, that's funny. That's the same last name as yours. He said, yeah. Mm-hmm. Every time you take a shit in there, I get paid.
Really?
What? That's what he said to me. That's what he said. I said, what? He said, I own that. That's my company. He said, let's keep going. So we drove down in the old dirt country road, and then boom, we come up into this big, it's like a farm. You know what I mean? But it had a nice house on it. And it had like a couple of horses, like two of it, almost like Noah's Ark, like 2 chickens, 2 horses, 2, like a one. Yeah. And I'm like, he's like, that's my house. I said, that's your house? It was a huge, you know what I'm saying? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, and I get paid, for having livestock on there. And I get a tax exemption. So that taught me a lot. You know what I mean? Just that right there,
Mhm.
I learned a lot. I was like, okay, this guy, he was using the military to stabilize his business. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And then he used the military to get a contract. He got a government contract with his porta potties.
Wow.
So he is good. You know what I'm saying? He's good to go. You know, and I'm like, okay. I'm sitting here treating him. No wonder he doesn't care. You know, he's like, he didn't need a job. He doesn't need a job. He really didn't care. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
That the military was passive income to him because he was making his money from the porta potties.
Mhm.
So
Wow.
Very cool.
Good.
That's-
shout
Yeah.
out to Sergeant Irvin. He taught me a lot.
I think I'm looking for like a similar experience myself. That's the ultimate goal. Is to use the benefits and the resources of the military and the connections that I make. Like you're speaking about this E6 that was above you from way back when, and clearly he made an impact on you.
Mhm.
And for me, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to make an impact for not only those who come after me, but those who are in now with me and those who were in before me. And just trying to show them that there's more than just one option, and that there's always another way. That's I guess that goes hand in hand with my brand's message as far as hustling until something happens. I stand on that, and I also want to show them how to make something happen, and not just telling them to do something to make something happen. If that makes any sense.
Mhm. Yeah.
Love it.
Good stuff. Good
Very
stuff.
inspiring.
Mm-hmm.
So okay, so we know that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. had a vision for the future of this country, right? If you could control one aspect of the future of the United States, what would it be?
I think it would be to teach people their unconscious bias. And what I mean by that is, it's not, let's say no one is born. I'm trying to get my words together here. No one. If I could change one aspect, if I can control one aspect of the future of the United States, it would be for people to understand that there's a thing called unconscious bias, and to know how to handle and interact with that, and that it's not necessarily, hey, this person was taught this, or that they were born this way with, let's say, hate or persecution in their heart or mind, but it's things that people do that they don't realize. And I feel like if we were to teach or just bring awareness to things that people aren't aware of, I feel like the country could be a better place. So I guess short answer, I would teach unconscious bias courses through all grades, K through 12, college as well. And I feel like that would help in the long run, as far as addressing different issues that we face in the country today.
It's beautiful.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
that's
like
awesome.
that. I like that. Introducing it young too.
Yes,
Early
that's very smart. And
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, that's one of the things actually that I hope and prayed. And I don't want to get into politics, but I was like, when every time we switch a new administration, I hope and pray that they take a look at the K through 12, education system, and not only that, work on non-bias and equality and stuff like that, but when I look at different countries, the way that their education system is set up, they're always progressing. You know what I mean? They're always progressing, and I think that's something that the United States could definitely do a better job at. So yeah, great answer.
Love it.
As far as like this question you asked, if you can control one aspect of the future, I'm kind of tackling an issue like that within the service right now. With the base and the unit that I'm in, I started up a diversity and inclusion program. It's not only for my unit, but for my group as well. And it's to essentially let, the stipulation for the military is it's a it's a welcoming pot, like it's a melting pot,
Right.
and that everyone blends together. But that's not always the case. Um, and I guess the mission behind the initiative that I was getting started here is to make everyone feel welcome, and not feel welcome, not just feel welcome, but understood as well. Um, and different ways that we're tackling some of these issues is we are within my unit, we are letting some of the different people come in and talk and teach us about their culture and how to respect their culture, whether that's bringing in different cultural dishes, attire, informing us about the do's and the don'ts and what's respectful and what's not respectful to their culture. That way each individual unit can, function with a good cohesion. And so these are some of the things that I know that I'm currently tackling right now with this issue.
Amazing.
It's very nice.
And that again should be taught K through, like, to
Right.
the
Exactly.
youth.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
That's something part of the conscious living of the unconscious that would make people more aware, starting that from a young age.
Mhm.
Oh, I love that. That's super
Definitely.
dope.
This is America. So definitely. All right, Demarius, are you gonna hang out with us as our next guest come on, or do you have to skate out?
I can hang out for a while.
Okay. All right, cool. So that part right there, I'm gonna edit it, the question,
Okay.
and then it's
Yeah. Sorry about
so
that.
no. That's just for me. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna edit that. That's the beauty of getting to edit this. All right, so cool. So I'm gonna act like I didn't say that. So, man, that's good stuff, Demarius. Thank you for sharing that. And I think
Right.
you're definitely gonna enjoy our next guest. Let's bring in my man and entrepreneur, Mr. Sean Roberts. Yes. So Sean, oh man, so I see the big hand in the back,
Mhm.
Amrak. Um,
Yes.
tell us about it. What is that? What is the
Is
big hand? What is the company?
okay.
Give us the rundown.
Well, it's good to see you guys again. COVID and all the things. Everyone's just doing what they do, and glad to be with you guys again. Just want to say thank you, appreciate you guys, love you guys, and you never forget the people that help you do what you do. So I just want to say thank you. All right.
Oh, appreciate
So
it.
Nice.
Uh,
Thank you.
yeah, so AMREC is basically taking negative things that happen to anyone and turn it around to something positive. And so as you look at the big hand behind me, it's basically saying that enough is enough. What we're going to do is we're going to get back and focus on the positive things in our lives. And so bullying comes in all forms. We've all been bullied in 2020. And so what I'm decided to do is say, listen, you know what? We all have gifts, we all have talents. Just use that for something good. And so my approach, I've been moving a bit more, not to bring religion into anything, but a little bit more towards the Christian side. That's just the foundation of what we're doing. And basically, what I'm saying is that, we all have an opportunity to be better and to do better. And so, what we have to do is strive each day to be the best version of ourselves. And what I try to do, I learn from my mistakes and I just keep pushing forward so that others see what I'm doing so that they can be better and so we can make this world better. Because what we have to do, we got to stop pointing the finger. We got to stop, name calling. We just got to get back to the basics and say, listen, you're positive, I'm positive. You got a platform, I got a platform. Let's build and let's make this place better. Because if we allow those small individuals to keep destroying what we have, then we do not have anything. So what we have to do is we have to come together and build. And so that's what I'm, doing is just building with people. There's enough success for everybody. Your success, great. I'm happy you guys are shining because, you know, being successful, a lot of people don't understand if you keep pushing everyone away, you're successful by yourself and it's a lonely experience. And so you have to be able willing to work with people and just appreciate the people that help you become who you are. And that's what it's all about. Let's bring out the best version of yourself that you could possibly be.
Amen. Amen. And so, the concept behind being bullied, is that something that you experienced personally, as a child, or is that, what was the aspiration behind,
It's,
using
it's
that.
really it's really interesting. It just came down to an experience of an individual asked me to help him with a movie premiere. I decided to help him, just like what we usually do is we put our resources together to help individuals. But what the person decided to do was to take full for it, and and not say, Sean Roberts helped out, Sean Roberts contributed to this, and it's not about Sean Roberts. It's just that acknowledging the person that helped you, rise up. And so, I was bothered by the experience, and so what I decided to do was first make a film, and it was called Karma. And then after, I was talking to a friend. He was like, "Well, why don't you call it AMRAC?" And so I said, "What is AMRAC?" And he said, "Karma spelled backwards." And so from there, I just ran with it. We did our first film. And, we had music videos. I had a show at one point, and actually had you on there a couple of years ago. And
Yes.
and I just kept pushing forward of just believing in myself and my capabilities. And it's really funny. I'll share this with you guys because this could be a message for most people. I remember when I first started out, I had all these individuals saying that they support me, and then they all just vanished. And so I said, you know what, that's fine. I'm just gonna get it done. And I'll share this because it's the process of you trying to accomplish something. I remember I didn't even have funds to actually make a banner, to have a banner, and we actually made a banner. And it was actually when you guys had the science event, we literally with the parent, we literally made a banner. And so I still have that as a reminder of, this is where I was, and this is where I'm going, and this is where I'm at now. And so I just want people to understand that you have to start somewhere, and you have to start with people that are willing, that believe you, and even if they don't believe in you, you believe in yourself, and you keep pushing forward. And that's what I do. It's like I don't care about the looks. I'm just doing what I came to do, and my agreement is with the higher power. So if he's happy, I'm good to go. And so I push. I'm not anything in anyone's face. I'm not trying to outshine anybody. I'm just doing what God selected me to do. And I hope that rubs off on other individuals that they can do, be the best version of themselves well, and be successful, because there's enough room for all of us to be successful.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
that's what people have to understand. There's
Yeah.
enough room for all of us to be successful. And
Yes.
a
Yeah.
wonderful thing, you could sit back and say, man, this is where I was and here we are now. That's why celebrities, they stick together, right? They're like, oh man, so and so likes this act, Tyler Perry, and so on and so forth. Perhaps stories, and I have a story. You guys have a story. And so I never forget the people that are part of your story.
Yes. And so speaking of stories and
Hmm.
connecting and building, I want to introduce you to this young man to
Hmm.
your left,
Hmm.
right? Demarius Maxwell. So I know you were in the backstage and you got to hear his story. And so I think there's some synergy there. That's why I put you guys when I spoke with Demarius, I was like, okay, I want to, we like putting our guests all on shows that can definitely do what you're saying. You know what I mean? That's why we brought in Monica and
Hmm.
Lisa as part of this Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. special. And so we wanted you to be a guest because Sean, your message resonates with what Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was preaching. You know what I'm saying? Essentially, and Demarius, he's walking the walk as well. He's walking the walk, just like you're walking the walk. So I just wanted you guys to get an opportunity to meet each other here and maybe vibe a little bit. So Demarius meet Sean, and Sean meet Demarius.
How you
How's it
doing,
going,
Demarius?
Sean? I'm
I'm
pretty
doing
good.
good.
I'm
I'm
pretty
doing good.
good.
Yeah, and
Awesome.
so
Nice.
hopefully you guys will connect and continue to to find some synergy and find some opportunities to work with each other as well. Um,
That's what it's all about.
Mhm.
yes,
It's the
Exactly.
synergy. It's helping. People. You gave the example of the gentleman. He was older than you, and then you took some knowledge from him, and then now you're doing what you do, and so that's just a whole thing. Amrak, let's come together. Let's build this. And so one day I'm not going to be here. You know what I mean? you're
Mhm.
not going to be here, but it's like, what did you leave? You know what I mean? Who's going to pick up that torch? Who's going to carry that on? And so we have to do what Martin Luther King says, is that we have to this community together, regardless of what anyone says. I've been in situations, people, they'll see photos and this and that. They're not understanding what I'm doing. I don't care about what anyone thinks. I'm doing what needs to be done. And so, I'm just talking it, I'm walking it, and that's what people have to do. You have to walk it. And it's really funny that you guys are doing the Martin King segment, because I had an opportunity. It was a moment in life I'll never forget, where we had the Martin Luther King parade here in Orlando, and I'm in the beginning of the parade with the American flag leading the parade.
Wow,
O-
Wow.
Okay,
That's pretty cool.
so
Mhm. Yeah, that's
yeah,
awesome.
that's
and and
awesome.
and and I share the photo with you because it was a moment in my life. I said, "Wow, Martin Luther King
Mhm.
set the tone, right?" And
Mhm. Yep.
here I am in his parade,
Yep.
still setting the tone. And so you see how that works. So he
Yes,
died, but he did what he said he was
Yeah.
going to
Paved the
do,
way.
and
word.
paved the way. And so
Mhm.
then, boom, here I am doing that. So now the torch will be passed to Mr.
Mhm.
Maxwell. You see what
Yes,
I am? And so it's not a lot of people got to get away from color and race and this and that. Let's get
Mhm.
back to just being people. Let's just be
yes,
Mhm.
people. And I
yes.
say this, I'm gonna have you guys laughing. It's so funny that we see all these people hating each other, but when you in that dance club, you and you got everybody from every race dancing with each other and partying
Yeah,
with each
yeah.
other, right? So I'm like,
Yep.
we can do it. We just have to do it, and
Right.
it's just simply just basically being the best version of yourself and just love on people right where they are, and that's what we have to do.
Mhm.
Awesome.
I was gonna say I feel like I agree with everything you just said there. As far as like I said earlier about my message, as far as moving in silence and letting your actions speak. Don't just talk about it. You gotta don't just talk the talk, but you gotta walk the walk. And it goes back to what Miss Monica was saying earlier, as far as love is active. You can say, hey, I like these different people, or I love everybody, but you have to actively show and
Right.
embrace the different communities. It's about more than just saying it, but it's about doing it and putting forth effort. That can be,
Right.
I feel like measurable effort is something that is is something that should be there as well.
Mhm.
It's like
Absolutely.
I'm sorry. I have a photo. A new film is called My New Family. People follow and see what I'm doing. Not just me, just the amazing people that they caught on to it. Is that we have people from all walks of life, from different parts of Florida, from different parts of the country, that never worked together, working together. So basically, I just made a statement to the world. Well, we made a statement to the world that
Mhm.
all this division stuff is a lie.
Beautiful, beautiful. All right. So, Sean, I want to ask you the question of the day. All
Sure.
right. So we know that Dr. Martin Luther King had a vision for the future of this country, right? And so if you had the opportunity to create a vision or to change one aspect of this country, what would it be?
What I would like to do, and this is what I'm striving to do, and we're actually doing it. I'm on your show. You guys have your platform. I have my platform. We're showing the world that we could be the best version of ourselves. We can be better than what the world is saying. And basically, I strive to bring community and just follow his principles of like, hey, let's stop allowing individuals who do not know what the other person is like, dictate paths. So we have to keep platforms open, and communication is key. And we have to show others. We may have to be in situations or positions or environments that some people may not be comfortable in, but you got to go there. Like the gentleman said, is that you got to go and spread the love, regardless of where it's at. and that's how we're going to change the world. So basically, just bringing back Martin Luther King's principles and foundation of we all are people, but what we have to do is we have to show the best version of ourselves, not the worst version of ourselves. And
Mhm.
I hope I answered
Beautiful.
your question.
Mhm. That's nice.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Good stuff. Good
Mhm.
stuff. Oh man. All right. Well, Sean and Demarius, we appreciate both of you guys for taking your time, for hanging out with us,
You're
and
welcome.
sharing your platforms. Sean, how can people find you? What's the best? I see. I don't know if we can see the website on the backdrop, but
So
how can people find you, and how can people get in contact with you?
So we have the website, which is amracantibully.org, Facebook, Instagram, under Sean Roberts, SeanRoberts, AMRAC. You can subscribe through our website, and we welcome all people. We're not in competition with anyone. We just want to bring back the foundations that once it was being destroyed, so now we're just bringing that back. And I just want to say, guys, glad to be here, and you guys keep pushing forward.
Much love. Thank you. And Demarius, one more time, what was the website for your brand?
The website for my brand is hushapparels.com. We are also on Facebook. If you type in at Hush Apparel Co. We're on Instagram as well, Twitter, TikTok, Pinterest. So we're everywhere. Yeah, and I just want to say thanks for having me on the show as well. Really appreciate what you guys are doing.
Can I say one more thing? Apologize.
Oh, please, no, go ahead.
Yeah. So the thing is, so Mr. Maxwell. So now you have the thing of hustle to something happens. Pretty much that's what you mentioned,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
Mm-hmm.
I want to share this with you. Narrow it into a focus on what you want to have happen and watch you see amazing things happen. You see what I'm saying? Once you
Mm-hmm.
narrow it down on what you want,
Mm-hmm.
then you're gonna start seeing all these amazing things happen. So me, I'm so focused, I can't even hear anybody. Like I'm just like, hey, I got you see, oh, you know, somebody will say, oh, I just saw you on this news station. Yeah, that was a news station, but I got to get this one. I got to get that one. It's not about being a celebrity. It's about I'm focused.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm so focused that I don't even care what anyone thinks. And so when you get to that point, that's when you're gonna be impactful. You see what I'm saying? You're
Mm-hmm.
Law of
young, so
attraction.
yes, absolutely. And always put out that positive energy. I was just talking to a person today of that boomerang effect. All these, individuals, they putting out all that negative energy. That boomerang is going back so hard with
Mhm.
that negative energy. There's no way they can prosper. So
Mm-hmm.
always remember, you're gonna put out that positivity. So that boomerang come back, you're gonna be like, man, and that's how God works.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
Yeah.
Thank
Good
you. I
stuff.
really appreciate the advice and the guidance.
Mhm.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Both of you brothers, thank you so much once again for your time and your energy and your knowledge. You both dropped some knowledge on us. We definitely appreciate it. We want you guys to stay safe, stay healthy, and stay fierce.
Yeah, and I want to hear some more Fierce shows and music videos. I'm
Yeah.
waiting. Okay, let's
All
go,
right, all
Fierce.
right.
Yes.
We waiting
Please,
for this COVID to die down a
yeah.
little bit.
Because it's so funny. Before I go, I don't mean to talk over, but I
No, go
had
ahead.
on. It was funny. It was cold, so I had on the Fierce sweatshirt. I
Oh
was
yeah,
showing a little
Oh,
love.
nice.
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey,
Love it. Love it.
We got to support each other, and
most
that's what
def,
it is. Doesn't cost me anything to show love to people that show love to me.
most
So,
def. Hey,
hmm
Mhm.
much love, bro.
hmm
All right, thank you guys. Thank you, gentlemen. Both of you
Thank
guys.
you.
thank you.
Take care.
Have a
See ya.
wonderful evening.
You
Hmm
too. Bye bye.
Okay, bye bye.